All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for being here this evening. And first and foremost, as a planning commission, we want to say Happy New Year. I think we're still within that window where it's relatively appropriate to say. We haven't moved outside of that window just yet. So Happy New Year. Tonight. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for being here this evening. And first and foremost, as a planning commission, we want to say Happy New Year. I think we're still within that window where it's relatively appropriate to say. We haven't moved outside of that window just yet. So Happy New Year. We good now? Oh, that was my Back to the Future moment. Okay. Made me lose my train of thought. But yes. So tonight, this is January 8th, 2026. This is the Planning Commission regular meeting. So we will call the meeting to order. So we will first start out, and again, Happy New Year to all of the planning commissioners that are here. Thank you guys for your service in 2025. Looking forward to what we can accomplish in 2026. All of your hard work and sacrifice has not gone unnoticed, so thank you guys. So with that, we will start with a roll call to ensure that we have a quorum. So when you hear your name, please say present or acknowledge that you're here. So we'll start with Commissioner Cheryl Davis, who is actually not here. She's not here but accounted for. Next is Commissioner Jeanette Hardy.
Here.
Commissioner Robin Meyer.
Here.
Commissioner Andres Miller.
Here.
And I am Commissioner Dante Philpott, and I presume that I'm here. Commissioner Carl Valenzano.
Here.
And Commissioner Venice Walker.
Here.
Thank you so much. And we do have a quorum. So with that, we will move to item number 3 on the agenda, which is the approval of minutes. So I know that the last meeting, we actually deferred because we didn't have enough time to review the agenda. I know that there's been some edits and adjustments that we sent via email, but I want to open the floor for any PC to recommend any additional edits outside of what's already been communicated via email to the November and December meeting minutes. All right. We'll go once, twice. Okay. So with that, then can we entertain a motion to approve the minutes, the meeting minutes, excuse me, from the November and December 2025 meeting?
I'm not sure my mic is working.
Okay. Ooh.
Is it? Okay. Yes, but it doesn't change.
There you go.
Okay. It doesn't have a light. I get it. Okay. I move that we approve the November meeting minutes and the December meeting minutes as amended.
All right. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I have a second.
All right. We do have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The meeting minutes have been approved. So with that, we will go to the next item. And as we move through, I want to make sure that, especially in 2026, we want to make sure that we lay the groundwork for a professional, for a courteous, and for an inclusive planning commission hearing. This is not a knock on anyone or anything that has happened previously, but we always kind of take a look and say, okay, hey, these things went good. These are the things that we can try to improve upon. So I want to kind of go over just rules of decorum, so that way we all know what the expectations are as we sit and as we attend the planning commission hearing. So first, excuse me. First, each case will be called in the order that is presented on the published agenda. When the case is called, we ask that the applicant please stand and raise your hand if you're able to show that you are in attendance. Next, we'll call to see if anyone is in support of or opposed to the case. We kindly ask that anyone that is in support of or opposed to any case to please stand and raise your hand so that you can be counted for the record. The applicant will present their case first. If any are present, those who are in support of the case will be called to speak first, and those that are opposed, if any, will speak second. Each side will be allowed 10 minutes to plead your case and/or raise your concerns. There will be no rebuttal process, so we ask that you please direct your comments to the Planning Commission within your 10-minute period. Additionally, if more than one person wants to speak on any particular case, we ask that you please coordinate with each other about the points that you'd like to speak about. Since each side only gets 10 minutes, you may or may not want to cover the same information or speak about the same points more than once or twice. After both sides have exhausted their 10-minute period, the Planning Commission will start to discuss the case. From the discussion, the Planning Commission, at its discretion, may request one or more of the speakers to come back to the podium to respond to questions or provide any additional information. At the conclusion of the discussion, the Planning Commission will make a recommendation, and the key word is a recommendation, to Mayor and Council, who will render a decision. Additionally, we ask that for any applicant or their representatives that are here, if you have any additional documentation or handouts, anything that you'd like for the Planning Commission to see or review, we ask that you please don't approach the table, but actually provide it to staff, and they will distribute it to the Planning Commission. As a courtesy to those in attendance, and to allow for the Planning Commission members and the staff, and also those of you in attendance, not just here physically, but also those that are attending virtually, to make sure that everyone can hear, we ask that you either turn your cell phones off or place them on mute. We ask that because of the small size of our meeting room, that those in attendance, we ask that you refrain from any side conversations. And that's simply to make sure that the Planning Commission staff and everyone else that is in attendance here, it's not distracting to anyone, because we want to make sure that everyone has a fair shot to hear all the information, and that most importantly, that we have the opportunity to hear all the information without any distractions. If you're not able to do that, we would kindly ask you to remove yourself from the Planning Commission hearing. So with that, I will turn it over to Chris.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Before we begin, I wanted to make a few housekeeping items. For those who may have not been notified or didn't realize, there are certain items that are on the agenda that will not be heard this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and read them off onto the record so people are aware. So item RZ 2025-008, tax parcel, 2020-08, 5080 Brookwood Drive. That item will not be heard this evening. The applicant is requesting a deferral to the February 5th Planning Commission meeting. TLUP 2025-004 is a special temporary land use permit for for dog sitting business at 2245 Honeycutt Road. That will be moved to the February 5th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. Applicant failed to do advertising and other requirements. And then temporary land use permit 2025-003, 740 Veterans Memorial Highway. It's like a training league facility. That applicant has withdrawn their application, so there's no action needed for this evening that as well. I also want to make a note that RZ 2025-006 at Old Alabama Road in Cardell, that applicant is requesting a deferral as well to be moved to the February 5th, 2026 Planning Commission hearing as well too.
Do we need to entertain a motion to approve that, or is it just?
No, it's
okay.
Except for the tax parcel Cardell Road.
The 006?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm referencing?
Yeah, you need action for that to push that to the February 5th Planning Commission meeting.
Okay, so can we entertain a motion to defer REZ 2025-006 to the February Planning Commission hearing?
So moved.
All right, we do have a motion to defer. Can we get a second?
A second.
We do have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. No opposition, the ayes have it.
And can we do the same thing for RZ 2025-008 as well? The applicant is requesting a deferral too.
Okay, so can we entertain a motion to defer REZ 2025-008 to the next Planning Commission hearing?
So move.
All right, we have a motion to defer. Do we have a second?
A second.
All right, we do have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The ayes have it, so we will defer.
Thank you very much.
All right. And with that, so we've moved quite rapidly through the agenda. So we've covered 4 and then 5A, B, C. So we are now on 5D. Mr. Wheeler, will it be you or Mr. Sunday? Okay.
All right. Good evening. My name is Sunday Odudu. I'm the senior planner here at the city of Mableton. The case we'll be hearing today is the REZ 2025-009, and that's 6671 Mableton Parkway. So the request is for rezoning from a single-family residential R20 to a neighborhood retail commercial to retain its commercial characteristics and as well as features. And the parcel ID is 180-39000-110, and it's a 2.327 acre of land. This is the map showing what the current zoning is at the moment, which is an R20 zoning district. This is the future land use map showing a medium density residential future designation, and the star shows the exact location of the parcel. And this is just an aerial imagery showing the exact location of the parcel. And this is just an aerial site imagery photo showing the parcel connecting to the Mableton Parkway. And these are all the site imagery photos showing the property as is at the moment. So this is just the sections A to E of the zoning ordinance criteria, which are questions that are asked when we're doing our staff analysis, and they're all contained in the staff report. So planning staff recommendation and opinion is actually direct. Planning and zoning staff recommend a denial of the rezoning application because it's not in line with the future land use designation. But however, we're actually recommending an approval of a temporary land use permit subject to a renewal of 2 years. Based on the applicant's request and the need for appropriate mitigation, we've actually put some stipulations and conditions which are also added in the next slide. So the first one is we're looking at 2 sections, which is the planning and the land use recommendations. And one of those restrictions will be the prohibited use, which is gas station is not going to be allowed on the property. Limitations of commercial use. We're going to be limiting the use of that area to administrative offices or professional offices, beauty mart, office space, a barber shop, nail shop, as well as a mini mart with non-alcohol sales. For restrictions on intensive use, there will be no car dealerships or no automobile related kind of business or any business that have a drive-through inculcated in it. For a detailed site plan, we're recommending if there's any form of future development on the property, they have to submit a detailed site plan so we could do a land disturbance permit and do a full review of the property in case there's any extension or additions or any form of development on that property. And preservation of existing structures, we maintain to a high standard, and they have to keep to the architectural compatibility of an R20 zoning district. And for the site plan design and mitigation recommendations, we're recommending that within the next 2 years, they should remove the canopy that's existing on the site. And that 2-year period is a grace period where they could recoup enough finances to actually take that canopy off the site. And within 6 months, the billboard, the non-conforming billboard on top of the canopy must be removed within 6 months of approval of the temporary land use permit. And we also recommended some extensive 25-foot undisturbed vegetation and buffer with adjoining or abutting residential properties. Lightning control, we also have recommendations in the lightning control. We have reservations on the circulation. If there's going to be any form of modification on the site plan as regarding the ingress and egress, they will have to get a DOT approval from Cobb County. And our hours of operation has been limited to 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday for any sort of business that will be accommodated on that property. And signage plan will have to go through an extensive review by staff if there's any form of signage that's going to be on the property in the nearest future. Thank you. And that's
Thank you.
the end of the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Sunday. So we will keep with rules of decorum. So do we have the applicant or their representative present? You can just stand and raise your hand just for now. Okay, thank you. And do we have anyone that is here, anyone here that is in support of this particular application? Okay, so we have, how many was that? What, 7? Okay. 6? Okay, 6 for the record, okay. Do we have anyone here in opposition of this particular application? Okay, so 2 for the record. Okay. So with that, at this time, we'll ask the applicant or their representative to step to the podium. Yes, you can come this way, yes, that's fine.
Good evening, everyone,
Good evening.
and Happy New Year to everyone as well.
And please make sure you speak into the mic so the digital or virtual audience can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. Okay. Thank you for being here tonight to listen to and share your encouraging process, your feedbacks. We appreciate it. The property 6671 Mableton Parkway was built in 1975 as a commercial building. When we purchased the property in 1995, it was zoned C4 and has continually operated as a commercial site. Only recently that we were learned that the property was zoned R20. For nearly 30 years, my husband operated a salon at the location called Ahead of Time Hair Salon. Before that, the building housed Starvin' Marvin, and prior to that, it would serve as a gas station. For decades, the property has functioned and as a place of business that served the surrounding community. In 2022, my husband suffered a severe accident that resulted in a traumatic injuries, and now I'm his primary caregiver. As a result, we are no longer able to operate the salon. We attempt to lease the space to another small business, but the change in zoning made it impossible. This brings us to why we are requesting the property to be rezoned back to commercial. The building already exists and was designed, constructed, and equipped for commercial use. We are not proposing any new construction, expansion, or redevelopment. The footprint will remain exactly as it is, and there will not be any increase or in density traffic or activity beyond what has historically existed on the site. Under the current residential zoning, the property cannot reasonably be used as a home due to the commercial utilities laid out. As a result, it's remained vacant, not abandoned, but unusable. Rezoning the property back to commercial would simply allow it to return to its use and successfully maintained, for it has been successfully been used for over 50 years. We have been in Mableton for 30 years, and we deeply invest in this community. Our goal is to operate or lease a small neighborhood serving business and add value and keep the property maintained and occupied. We want to be very clear that we are not seeking to introduce any gas station or automotive businesses on this site. The property has been in my husband's family and represents part of our family legacy. Our hope is to pass it down to our children and our children's children for some positive reflection and to benefit the community. We respectfully ask for the community to support and allow this long-standing commercial property to remain to its original zoning and purpose. Your support would help us move forward in a way that is consistent with the character of the area and the beneficial of the neighborhood as a whole. Thank you for your time again and your consideration.
Can we stop the clock there? All right, so we had, how many was it, 6 or 7 people that wanted to speak in support of? 6? Okay, so there's 6, let's just say 7 minutes remaining.
Yes, there's 7 minutes remaining for, in favor of the
Yeah.
application.
So it's 7 minutes remaining, so I mean, you guys don't have much room to line up, but we ask that you come at least 2 at a time. Again, you guys can exhaust the 7 minutes however it is that you choose, whether it's one person or all 6 or 7 of you. So you guys can step to the podium in whatever order.
May I ask a question, please? May I ask a question? Because I'm not sure it was absolutely clear.
Sure.
In terms of, because if you look at the number of folks who are here to support, there's more than 6. Not everybody raised their hand. So if the question is whoever's here to support, raise your hand, you'll get more than 6. Because I just want to make sure that we have the correct number noted, if that's okay.
So we asked in the beginning if there's anyone that's here, anyone here in support of the application, and was it 6 or 7 raised their hand?
Well, but it's more, can you all either raise your hand or stand up or something? Because there's more than 6 in here.
So when the planning commissioner had asked for anybody in favor of the application, those who wanted to speak was supposed to raise their hand during the time that he asked. So if you all are attempting to speak, there will have to be 6 minutes divided amongst you. So those who really want to speak in favor of the application are the ones that should go up if they really deem it. So you have to decide.
Okay, well, you all can come up and we'll, come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Long story short, I have a letter that I would like to submit to one of the members here, and if you would like, you can read what I've prepared
Sure.
at your leisure.
Okay.
I've been a resident of, my name is Sterletha Smith, and I've been a resident of Mableton since 1993. I don't want to take up the minutes in time, but I would like to say that the Johnson family and I and my family have been in communication, and I've been going to their business for over 30 years. They have been a great part of the community for my family. They've served cancer patients, children, high school proms, 80th birthday parties. They've done hair care for everyone here. For those that are opposed, I don't know if you know her. She has a heart. She's been here for the community. It kind of breaks my heart to see what she's going through in her family. And that's all I'm going to say for now, because my letter speaks for itself. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are 5 minutes and 37 seconds remaining.
Is there so 5.5 minutes left. Anyone else that wants to speak in support of this application, please step to the podium.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so my name is Joyce Millender Steele, and I've known Susie and Ren and their family. I knew Susie before she had babies, so we've been friends for a very long time. I just wanted to go back to the staff report, because when you look at that, some of the information is inaccurate, and I just want to make sure that it gets cleared up. Because if the decision is being made based upon what's in the document, I want to make sure that everybody's clear of what it should be. First of all, we keep hearing that it's been residential for the whole time, and that's not correct. Part of the challenge that we're having is there's inconsistent information between, I don't like to say between, but if you look at what's being reported in the county and if you look at what's being reported in the city, it's two different things. The county consistently says it's commercial, and the city is saying it's residential. So I'm not sure what we do with that, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is we're talking about reestablishing it back to commercial, because that's what started. It was a gas station. You can't put a gas station on a residential piece of property, I wouldn't think. So we want it reestablished back to what it was. It says in here that the property was developed with a commercial structure in 1996. That's not correct. It was established in 1975. Okay? Want to clear that up. The business, it says here the business did not renew their license in 2023. Again, that's not accurate. We have documentation that the business was renewed on March the 3rd of 2023. And we have documentation from the county in support of that. So that's not correct. It says in September 2024, a new applicant applied for a business license. Before applying for the business license, there was a signed contract for 5 years dated February of 2024. Okay? So from the end of December 2023 to February of 2024, there was a very slight time frame, but on here it says the application was denied for the new business license in 2024. It said the zoning ordinance states non-conforming use is considered abandonment for 12 months. It wasn't abandoned because there was a car wash that had been operating there for years, but because it was rezoned and they didn't know it was rezoned to residential, the car wash could not go back and get the license reestablished. So, if the business had been able, if they had known that it had been rezoned from commercial to residential, a little sooner, they might have been able to respond. But by the time they found out, it was too late. So we want to make sure that we do not have, that they are not penalized for, first of all, something they didn't know. Second of all, some of these stipulations where you can only do 2 years, we don't want them held hostage to a 2-year agreement. That's not fair to the business owner. By the way, they were here before all these, before the school, before all the buildings in the back. They were here, okay? So we want to make sure that growth and development is not done at the expense of small businesses. And they're not the only ones who's going through this issue. So you'll be hearing about some more, okay? We want to know, is there not a way that they would have been grandfathered in? Oh, that they've been grandfathered in? And actually, if you all will do SOPs, because going through this process, we found out at the very last minute what needed to be done. So,
hi, my name is Andrea
Ma'am.
Brooks.
Ma'am.
I've been in Cobb County
Ma'am.
for 20 years.
Ma'am, sorry.
Oh.
I was trying to say how many time is left. So it's 1 minute and 14 seconds. Okay.
I've been in Cobb County for 20 years. I got unincorporated into Mableton because I live in Austell, and I've been in Austell since 2015. I've been going to her for 20 years. I know her as a business owner. She's very fair. Her husband was also there. It was been established in this community for a very long time. And to see what's going on, I'm concerned because when I get ready to start my business, am I going to have the same problem as a resident of this city? And I don't think it's fair for us to treat our own people in our own city like this. It would be different if somebody was coming in to do something, but she was here before the city was here. And to treat somebody like this, I think is very unfair and not equitable. Thank you.
How much time is left?
There's 24 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be quick. So I just wanted to say that me personally, I have been to the salon myself. So, and this was years ago. I'm confused on how it could have been zoned as residential. That's news to me. I'm like, it's been a commercial building as long as I was going there. So I don't know what happened with this, but I do think that, I am in support of this being rezoned to commercial so she can continue her operations of her business.
And that is time.
Thank you. Okay, so now, anyone in opposition to this particular case? How many did we have? Was it 1 or 2?
It was two.
Okay, so can you guys make your way to the podium? And again, you guys will have 10 minutes, and you can split it however it is that you like, but you'll have the 10 minutes, so give us a second, and we'll make sure that we have time. You ready? Okay, whenever you guys are ready.
Yes, my name's Steve Young with the Mableton Improvement Coalition, and we are in agreement with the staff analysis that this piece of property should be given a temporary land use permit of 2 years for operation of the business. NRC is inappropriate for a residentially zoned area. I believe the building here predates zoning, when zoning came into to Cobb County, which is probably why it got grandfathered in as a commercial establishment in a residential area. Nonetheless, the surrounding area is all medium-density residential. There are a number of single-family dwellings surrounding this piece of property, and to zone it NRC would permit categories of business which are inappropriate for a residential area. We do support the small business that the applicant is intending to provide, and think a temporary land use permit is an appropriate designation for that activity. Thank you.
8 minutes and 47 seconds.
Good evening. My name is Scott Starwitz. I'm the CFO and one of the founders of the SA School. Our property is located right across the street from this site. We are in agreement with the Mableton Improvement Coalition and the recommendations by the staff. The only exception that we have to that is around a mini mart. There's specific items. I know it said no alcohol sale, but things like tobacco, gambling, CBD, we wouldn't want those things next to a school. Our main concern is safety, and so concerns that we have are around traffic. We did a traffic study to be able to put in a school zone out front of our school. The average speed in front of our school is 62 miles an hour. The traffic study was submitted to the committee, and so we don't want there to be catastrophic accidents out front. And then, like I said, with the mini mart, that would be the only position where we vary, just because we have children so close to that site. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's 7 minutes and 39 seconds left.
Okay. So we do have 7 minutes, 39 seconds left. If there's anyone else that would like to speak in opposition to this particular application, and I'll give you guys a few seconds to muster up the courage to speak publicly. Okay. Going once, going twice. Okay. So with that, the opposition will forfeit the remainder of their time. And with that, we'll close the public comment section for this particular case. So with that, I'll open it up for discussion or conversation with the Planning Commission. So we can start. I don't know if we have questions for the applicant or for staff, but we can start there.
I have, for the record, I want to disclose that I'm previously a client of Wren. Fine businessman, fine family, but I want to avoid any perceived conflict of interest. So I would like to talk with the attorney to see if I should remove myself from the voting matter.
Okay.
Due to being a former client.
Do you want
approximately
to
15 years ago.
Do you want to do that as a sidebar? We can wait for your decision.
Well, I mean, I think it's just a generic question. If you feel that you're conflicted because you've either have financial impact or have spent money there, then I think, yeah, it's proper to you excuse yourself from this particular rezoning if you feel that you are potentially, conflicted.
I don't feel I'm conflicted, but I just wanted to disclose it.
Okay. Has it been current client or like?
No, it's been approximately 12 to 15 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. I'll have to go back because it's just financial gain or any contract with that. So I think I'd have to check. Let me see the conflict. So I think, yeah, if it's just 15 years ago and you were a client, but you're no longer, and you have no financial connection to the business now, I think you're okay to stay on the board.
Okay. The floor is open. So the question that I have, and this is a question to staff, this is somewhat confusing, a bit of a head scratcher. So the applicant stated that it was, I think it was originally zoned as C4. Is that correct?
Yes, if that's what she said. However, I want to make it something clear. So what the tax assessor has classified is different from what zoning has.
Right. So that was going to be my question.
Yeah,
Is this a tax assessor code or is this a zoning code?
More than likely, without it actually seeing the tax assessor's information in front of me, more than likely it's a tax assessor code. Oftentimes, you'll get a tax assessor's code which is different from what the actual zoning code is, because the tax assessor codes there are different from just zoning because it's how they reviewed their information. And so, again, tax assessor may code it as commercial, however, zoning may see it as residential. And that's just sometimes some things happen like that. I don't understand how it happens like that, but that has happened. I've seen it throughout my career where a property is zoned residential, however, they're paying commercial taxes on it. Just again, I can't understand how it happens, but I've seen it happen before.
And just for the record, based on staff analysis and research, was there any indication of a zoning code change at any point in time?
Not from our records. So when we took over zoning from the county submitted us all of their zoning records that are located within the city limits of Mableton. So essentially, if you had a zoning case history, if this property went through the zoning process through Cobb County, there's a zoning case associated attached to it, such as Z 2016, Z52 of year 2016, where you have minutes, you have applications, you have conditions or stipulations and so forth. So that is essentially saying that, hey, this went through the zoning process through Cobb County, is now in the city limits of Mableton. So if you need to know zoning history, this is where you're going to look it up. For this particular property in itself, there isn't any zoning case history on it at all.
You said there is not?
There is not.
Thank you.
There is not that we found. There wasn't a link. There wasn't any minutes. There wasn't anything stipulation associated with it. However, from what we've seen is because the zoning ordinance didn't establish until 1970 something for Cobb County, more likely a commercial project could have occurred right there, and then this could have been grandfathered in from the 1970s code. However, we don't have any history. We don't have any material to prove that. That's just going off based off our conversations with Cobb County.
Okay. And what I was able to do in this period of time here is I was able to locate the property on the tax assessor's website, and that C4 code is the tax assessor's class. It's a class code, and C4 just says mixed residential / commercial, built as commercial. So I wanted to make sure that I understood. I wasn't sure if there was some kind of historical precedent that we were missing or that we didn't understand. But it appears that C4 is the tax assessor code, not necessarily the zoning code. And I can share the link with anyone who wants it. But again, the floor is open for any PC to ask questions of staff or the applicant.
We'll turn yours off. Good. I'll say that I agree the situation is quite confusing, and I apologize to both the applicant and the folks at this table that's the case that we find ourselves in. I don't know how we can clarify anything based on what Mr. Wheeler just told us. So I think we're forced to use the information provided by both the applicant and staff to make the best decision at this point.
And so I do have a question to the applicant. Would you mind stepping to the podium, please? Ooh, there we go. So the quick question that I have for you, and forgive me if you said it or if it's included in staff and I skipped over it. It was a hair salon. What is it that are you trying to reestablish the hair salon, or what business are you trying to put there now?
Well, I would love to go back there as a hair salon. However, I'm my husband caregiver due to his accident. So I'm trying to get someone there willing to come in for a cafe, a small cafe, a hair salon again, because that's something I think the neighborhood needs. We don't have one in that space. Something that would benefit the community. Nothing crazy, because we never operated anything crazy. We want it to stay something that benefits our neighbors and tasteful.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And
go ahead.
I know that they said it's a class tax, C4, but in our warranty deed that we pulled from Cobb County Superior Court, it states that the property was only constructed for commercial use only. It's in the deed.
Okay. Would you mind providing a copy of that to staff?
Sure.
Okay.
I want to just again clarify
Yes.
that. So again, when City of Mableton took over, we didn't do any zoning. We didn't do any zoning changes. So again, what's zoned out there, that was zoned by Cobb County. I just want to make it clear that for us to go through the rezoning process, for any property to rezone, you have to go before the planning commission meeting. The planning commissioners, this is the first time they're hearing this case this evening, correct?
Correct.
And so therefore, for that item to actually happen, it has to go for a regulatory body such as city council to approve the rezoning. We have not changed any zoning. This is the zoning that we inherited from Cobb County. Again, we do not have any history, or we don't understand exactly how this became. And so that's why we're here at this situation at this point in time.
Okay.
I just want to put that on the record and make that explicitly clear that, again, City of Mableton did not change any zoning. We just accept the current zoning what we have at this point in time.
Gotcha. And this question is to staff as well. So in the stipulation, I know a temporary land use permit is actually pretty standard. I know that there's one business that comes to mind is Tunnels to Towers, which basically they took over the hotel right there near Six Flags, and they have a temporary land use permit, and their time frame is 2 years. Co-chair, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the temporary land use permit is 2 years renewal.
My recollection is that it was a special land use permit.
Oh, special land use permit.
And it was 5.
5 years, okay, all right.
I think under our code, temporary land use permits max out at 2 years.
Yes,
Is that
yes, ma'am.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any particular reason, so staff recommended a TLUP. Is there any reason to not use a special land use permit? I'm just trying to make sure I understand.
So a special land use permit is a card we play when
Is it what now?
I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible to make
Okay.
everyone understand.
Gotcha.
So it's a decision we make if it's allowable on our permit table.
Okay.
So for that particular property and that particular use, there is no special land use permit for that on the zoning code. So you can allow special land use permit. It's only allowed when a special use has been identified to accommodate that on our permit table. So special land use is not an option.
Gotcha.
And that's
Okay.
why we went for the temporary land use permit, which is more appropriate at the moment for
Okay.
the property.
Thank you for the clarification.
Right, so if I understand you correctly, there in our ordinance are a list of specific uses, and only those uses can receive a special land use permit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And in designated zoning districts, not all zoning districts.
correct, right, got it, okay. This is an incredibly difficult situation, and that I think we all find ourselves in here. I think from one of the things that stood out to me were the DOT comments. And in conjunction with the study that found the average speed of Mableton Parkway being what it is. But among the issues that DOT commented on, not that they would all need to be resolved unless the property is redeveloped, but that if this were a new build, which we understand it's not, but if it were a new build, they would be requiring a decel lane, a single access point, that the parking spaces be further away from the access points, that the gates be set further in so the cars wouldn't back up into the road if they were closed. And they would also encourage interparcel access, which is common in commercial areas, which this is not under the future land use map. So I think I appreciate the staff's careful analysis of what sorts of businesses are appropriate for this location.
And so if I can speak about the DOT comments, and that essentially what it was, because the applicant didn't identify a specific use, but just a commercial use. And so what they were trying to do, not to be very specific about certain use, certain stipulations that may not be necessary depending on the use. So is to be kind of general when it came to just a commercial use. And so yeah, you were right, Commissioner Myers, that again, it's general enough that if the applicant decides to build it out themselves or add any improvements or sell it to somebody, there are some general conditions regarding for DOT to address some of those concerns that may crop up.
Right. Well, I think it's a good reality check in a way for the difficulties of a, relatively small commercial use on a 5-lane highway, very fast 5-lane highway. And so I think I think the conditions that you've suggested are good ones. When we get around to the point of making a motion, if it's appropriate, I would probably suggest a few others that focus in on things like used tire shops, auto parts stores, auto inspection stations, things of that nature. But I think that, personally for me, I think the temporary land use permit is the way to go. If this parcel appears on the zoning map as NRC in the middle of what on the north side of Mableton Parkway is a solidly residential area, then I think it causes, I think it drastically affects the usability of the surrounding residential property and their future values. And I think that's something that we have to keep in mind as we consider this.
And a clarification question with regards to the DOT comments. When they're adding the stipulation about the decel lane and I think the parking lot, were they saying that if the applicant redevelops, meaning that if they basically demo and start over fresh and new?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Again, it's because we caveat and say that they did not intend to do any type of redevelopment.
Mm-hmm.
However, we did leave it open that they may want to sell it. They wanted the flexibility of having this because it be zoned commercial, so they can then figure out what the best use for a commercial use at that point in time. And then it dictates to what the seller, what the buyer would do. So if the buyer decides, hey, I want to do a commercial use here and demo everything, then those stipulations will come into play.
Okay. The floor remains open for any other PC with any questions to staff or the applicant.
I do have a question for the applicant. So I want to make sure that I understand you correctly. You stated that you wanted to have possibly another beauty salon, and then you named some other types of businesses. My reservations come from the fact that on the application, you kind of left it open. And that doesn't, of course, give me a warm and cozy feeling because that's my district. When you give us specifics, that gives us more to work with. Did you state if you were willing to sell or not? Did you say if that was an option?
That's not even an option.
That's
at all.
not an option?
It's going to be passed on to our children and our grandchildren.
But you can't specify?
It will be put in a trust. That is our legacy that we're leaving for our kids. The Bible says a wise man leave an inheritance for his children's children, and that's what we're trying to establish for our children.
Okay. Can you speak to what may possibly be your long-term plan if the property were not, if the temporary land use permit were to not be renewed? Have you considered?
We'll have to keep coming back because we're not selling and we want to keep this. This is ours. This is something that was passed from my mother-in-law to her son.
Yeah.
And this has always been a family business. No, we're not selling. Anybody who interested in, I've had plenty of offers over the years. Developers come to us and we refuse it because this is not what we want. If we were able to, we would gladly go back in and operate as a salon.
Yeah.
But we're not. When he had his accident, Grady said 2 years he'll be down. It's been past 2 years, only because he didn't get the correct care after he left Grady because of insurance. So now we had to go through 9 surgeries to get him to look like he is now. It's been very taxing on me, and I'm not able to get any revenue from something that we own, that we purchased a commercial.
Can you share with us what planning have you done so far? Is other than, I think I heard you say something about a coffee shop.
We would love to, because the canopy would benefit a coffee shop. They can go out and sit up on the setup like a couple of areas like Mexican Lindo, where they have the outside, where you can set up an event area out there to sit down and eat.
So are you saying that it's not your intention to remove the canopy? You want that to be a permanent fixture?
I would love for it to be a permanent fixture. That is what we bought. We bought because we're taxed on it as well. And we're not the only one on Mableton Parkway with a canopy.
It's the billboard on top of the canopy.
And I would like to also make a about the road that you're saying there was not enough space. We had a turning lane there for many years, and then Cobb County came and took it and put the sidewalk. That is why we're so close to the street now. And definitely, we're not developing the back. We like the way it is. We came to Mableton because we like how Mableton was set up, with the trees and the land and the open air. Now I look at Mableton and it's okay to develop, but it's too many development going on with houses. We're being stacked in here on houses.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave it open. This is why I moved here from Atlanta. I lived in Decatur and then I moved to Atlanta and I didn't like it, so we came to Mableton, and this was like a little hidden town, which nobody knew at the time. People used to say, oh, where you are in Mableton. Oh, that's the country. No, it's not. Six Flags. And they, oh, that's Mableton. So,
I do have another question. If this were to be approved with stipulations, how quickly would you all begin to start?
Well, I have to get someone in there, so it's whenever I get a chance. I've been getting calls wanting to know if they can rent the building. I told them I'm in zoning issues right now, so I'll have to put the sign out, say for rent, and see what is in our boundaries to put there. And I'm not sure now because the people that I had, they're gone. That's 5 years I've lost contract from.
Ms. Johnson, I have a question. Okay, so your primary obstacles currently with all of the inquiries that you've received regarding the property is that the inquiries are looking to do a commercial established business, and you cannot lease it to them because of the zoning currently being as residential. Okay, with everything that has been proposed from the staffing,
Pull the mic towards you.
okay, from the staff committee, and even considering the DOT recommendations, has any of the inquiries that you received aligned with what the staff is recommending, or do you feel that it brings further conflict and hardship to the legacy that you're trying to leave for your family?
Both,
Okay.
both.
Okay. So, from what I can hear from the people that are here to support you, I was familiar when they said there was no turnoff. I was a little surprised because I remember when I came there was a merging lane. So it's nice to know that there was a change from Cobb County. It wasn't it was enforced, so you didn't have any choice. So I think it requires us to go back and do a little research on that as well to see why Cobb made that change to remove the merging lane into your establishment. However, as the commission, our primary job is to look at the future of what, Mableton is going to be. And whereas I sympathize that anyone that drives past it, they're going to look at it, oh, it's commercial. So if they come back and they say it's residential, do you think there's any possibility of someone being interested in doing anything residential with the property? I don't know if there's a option for, maybe multi-housing that can be set up inside of the establishment.
Well, when I went to one of the planning meetings they had at the Epic Center, a developer approached me because of my land, the amount of land I had. And I shut him down. I said, sir, I'm not interested in putting any townhomes here.
Okay.
This is what I want it to be. This is commercial. I'm not trying to, they told me, well, we can just take the back part of it. And I said, no, sir. We want to leave it undeveloped.
Okay. Would it be possible that you could talk with some of the inquiries that have come back with your top 3 recommendation of what the property could become if for some reason it could be rezoned as commercial? Because again, we can't make a decision on something that we don't know how it fits within the aesthetics of the community or what the community needs or how it aligns with, future plans. So
well, the 3 main ones that keep coming up is the Mini Mart, which is a non-alcoholic store, because we've already told them there's a church across the street, and we know there's a school there. So that was not even an option. But a Mini Mart, just to sell snacks, food stuff. And then I had a person came to me about a juice box store where they sell juices. And another person wanted to do a cafe. They've been waiting since December when I was approached. And I'm not sure if they found somewhere else now. So I'm still back at square one. I can't say because I don't have any offers at this present time. And I just don't want to say, oh, we're going to do a salon and trying to find someone as a salon to come in to take the spot, because we did that before we just stopped operating. And we couldn't find anyone to come in to utilize the space, because in Mableton it's very limited in salons, especially on that little strip up here where we're on.
Would you be willing to comply with Mableton's design standards as far as low-profile signage?
As in with sign, because there's several signs on the property. That one on top of the building?
Yes.
I can conform to that. I want my property to be beautiful.
Okay. So, well, first, any other questions? I mean, we have to take as much time as needed, so please don't feel like you have to stop asking questions if you have questions on your mind or on your heart, so.
And at this time, Ms. Johnson, you have not decided for sure if you want to lease to a new business that will come in with fresh set of ideas separate and apart from you, or are you leaning more towards doing something yourself or leasing it to someone who wants it to be a commercial space? Because I hear both sides. So you said the cafe, the mini mart, or the juice box are the three top people who have inquired about the property. But for you yourself personally, with the changes to the signage that is required by the city of Mableton, what's in your heart to do with your business?
I would, if I have a choice, I would keep the signage because that would bring a revenue of income for me. But to conform with what the Mableton is asking, I can go that way as well. But I know that will be income loss from that signage.
Okay. But what is the business that you would?
The business that I would love to have there would be a salon.
Okay.
I would love to go back in that space.
Okay.
That was our baby. It was very hard to close the door for a while. That's where my children was raised.
Any other questions? Thank you. We appreciate you sharing that. You have a seat. So, as was stated before, it's a interesting situation. I think it's a bit confusing, and I think part of the confusion is how the zoning was or was not communicated to the applicant. Like I said, when I look on the tax assessor website, C4 comes up as a tax assessor code, and it's deemed as a commercial property. And I think it's because it's operating as a commercial facility, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Cobb County more than likely had it zoned as residential R20 from the start. Hearing the applicant and the desires of the applicant to have it as a business, I'm of the opinion that the temporary land use permit, this is the best avenue to allow the applicant to accomplish that, because having it zoned as R20, as residential, the applicant is going to continue to basically twist and turn it in the same never-ending loop. The applicant has stated that as far as the stipulations that staff has recommended, that there's a willingness to conform or comply with those stipulations. For me, I think the best path forward, given where we are, where the property is currently zoned, and how the future land use is designating the property as MDR, medium density residential. The current zoning and the future land use doesn't allow the applicant to establish or reestablish the business. Again, I think the temporary land use permit allows the applicant to do that. Unfortunately, we can't change the 2-year timeframe or the 2-year application or reapplication period, but the temporary land use permit, that zoning category allows the applicant to accomplish that, to where she can entertain people that may want to put a salon there, or a coffee shop, or a juice box, or mini mart maybe. So me, I guess I would entertain a motion to approve it as a temporary land use permit, which would again give the applicant the avenue to accomplish what they're setting out to accomplish. And I know Commissioner Meyer, I think you had some, or I should say with the stipulations that staff has recommended, but I think you had some additional stipulations that you wanted to add to that. So we can start with, I'll raise that motion. Do we have a second to approve the application with the temporary land use permit zoning category with stipulation, with staff recommendations and stipulations.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes,
before
sir.
you get to that next step, can I ask our zoning attorney,
Yes.
do we need to take a step to recommend denial of the rezoning and then approval of the temporary land use permit? I'm just trying to make sure we're doing the steps correctly the way that the chairperson was headed.
Yeah, so if you're, done with your discussion, I think then the call or the ask is there a motion for approval or denial? And then you get that. So if you have an approval, then you're going to take that motion up, and then it'll be with stipulations, then you take a vote. And if it passes, it passes.
Gotcha.
And if someone raises a denial, that would be, take a vote on that.
Okay.
So the floor would be open to ask for a call for a motion for approval or denial by the chair.
Okay.
And then if there's a move for it and a second, then you have to take that up.
Okay. So then I will take a step back and I will ask for a motion for approval or denial.
So I'm confused. So is this motion for approval or denial for the rezoning? And then if that is denied, we would take up a motion for approval of a temporary land use permit? Or is it a two-step process or a one-step process?
Yeah, I think, and maybe I misunderstood your question, but the motion could be all the same. So it could be, I recommend denial of the rezoning. However, I would offer an approval of a temporary land use permit.
Gotcha.
Or somebody might make the motion, I recommend the motion for rezoning approval. I don't know what the will of the body is. So it's just a call for that.
Okay.
But you could ask it that way, as put in the staff report. Denial of the rezoning request, but an approval for a temporary land use permit, subject to stipulations. And then, if that's what you want them to do.
Okay. So again, I'll call for a motion of approval or denial, and then we'll put it out there to take that motion.
I would like to make a motion for approval of the rezoning.
We need you to be specific approval of what?
Of the
reason?
rezoning to it not being classified as residential, as it being classified as commercial, as it has been operating as a commercial place for over 20-some years.
So let's take a step back. So the motion would be to deny the rezoning request?
No. To approve the rezoning request to it being a commercial zoning rather than a residential zoning.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess just to be clear, so I think the motion on the floor right now is to approve the request as sent in by the applicant.
Yes.
That's what she's, I think, laid out.
To rezone to NRC?
Right, well, that's the application. So the request was for rezone of it, and that's what that
Yes.
motion is. Right now, approval of the application as submitted by the applicant.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion to approve the zoning request to NRC. Do we have a second? Okay, we do not have a second. Do we go back for discussion?
No, so you would then say this motion fails
Okay.
for lack of a second.
Okay, so so I'll ask again, do we have a second? Okay, so the motion fails for lack of a second. So now we'll open it back up for a motion for approval or denial.
I move that we recommend the denial of the rezoning and approve the application as a temporary
Land use permit.
land use permit with stipulations that staff has recommended.
Okay, we have a motion to deny the rezoning but approve temporary land use permit. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second.
Would it be appropriate for me to offer an amendment to your motion?
Yes.
Sorry, commissioners. When you are Chairman, when you are saying that there's a motion, can you please say which commissioner is
Oh, I'm
stating
sorry.
it? Yes, because I need it for the notes, sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So we had a motion to deny the application as submitted, but to approve the temporary land use permit for Commissioner Andres Miller. We had the second, oh, okay, I thought somebody was clicking in. We had a second from Jeanette Hardy. And I think Commissioner Meyer wants to make some amendments to the motion or to the
Okay.
stipulations.
Okay, thank you.
So I would suggest that we include in the prohibited uses a little bit more specificity that vehicle repair, vehicle sales, emission inspection stations, auto parts sales, new and used tire sales, and parking for vehicles not associated with a business located on the site would not be allowed. Yes. Vehicle repair, vehicle sales, emission inspection stations, auto parts sales, new and used tire sales, and parking for vehicles not associated with a business on the site. And if any dumpster is used on the property, it must be placed in a dumpster enclosure.
Okay, and real quick, I think we just need to procedurally clean something up. So we had a motion and a second for approval of the, or denial of the rezoning and approval of the temporary land use permit with staff recommendations.
Correct.
And so, and I think now what would be this is you would move to make an amendment to that motion to
Yeah.
add further stipulations.
Yes.
Then get a second.
Okay.
And then deliberate on those stipulations to it, just to run through.
Okay, so she's made.
I made a motion. I made that motion.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah, so.
So we need to second her.
Yeah, so.
I second.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, and, yeah, okay, and then register those, and now discussion on the stipulations that were offered as an amendment to the original motion that was laid out.
Okay, so we had the second from Andres Miller. I think that's what you're looking for.
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion on your additional amendments?
Not from me.
Okay. The only, and I think, and I just want to clarify that in staff recommendations or stipulations, I think it said something about a mini mart, and I know there can't be alcohol sales within a certain number of feet within a school, so that's not an issue. Tobacco sales of vapes, like tobacco vape, is there any, and this is a question for staff, is there any ordinance on the books that prohibits tobacco vape, those kind of sales within a certain number of feet within a school, since the SAE school is there?
At the moment, based on the codes adopted from Cobb County, there are no regulations. They only have state licensing that they have to get, but there are no city regulations prohibiting the sales of tobacco and vapes.
Okay. Could we add that as a stipulation? And I'm thinking about church, school, kids, stuff like that. Could that be an additional amendment? Because I don't recall seeing that. I remember seeing a mini mart. I think that's how it was termed in staff analysis and recommendations.
Yeah, yes, you can have that
Okay.
as one of the stipulations.
Okay.
I think we have to vote on
Okay.
mine first.
That's
and then
no problem.
The same process for yours.
No problem. No problem. Okay. So we've had the motion and the second, and we've had Commissioner Meyer's additional stipulations. Oh, wait, hold on. Are we good?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, can you repeat that?
No, I was saying we've already had the motion from Andres Miller, the second from Jeanette Hardy. Commissioner Meyer raised the additional stipulations. So
So we have a motion and a second, so we need, on the amendment
Right.
to the motion. So I think we have to vote on that
Okay.
next.
Okay. Okay,
Right.
I have that for the record.
Okay. Do we need to take a vote on Commissioner Meyer's additional stipulations? Or can more be added to hers?
I would say please go ahead and add them to hers.
Okay.
Okay.
So that way we can do it all at once and, okay. The only stipulation that I would add would be no tobacco or vape sales at the property, just simply because it is within such close proximity to a school. So that's something to consider. So that would be the additional stipulation that I would add. And I'll leave it open for any further discussion if there are any additional stipulations that any other PCs may want or feel the need to add. Okay, so it doesn't seem like there's any additional stipulations. So now that we have the additional stipulations, we'll take a motion to approve, to deny the rezoning request, but to approve the temporary land use permit with staff stipulations and Commissioner Myers' additional stipulations.
Not take a motion, take a vote.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
You've had the motions.
Okay.
And that's what's on the floor now. So you would just restate the motion and the amendments to it, and then ask for a vote if there's no further discussion.
Okay, so really quick, no further discussion. I'm gonna assume we're clear for discussion. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and take the vote for, what's the word that I'm looking for? We'll take a vote for the motion with the additional stipulations that have been added. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay. Let the record show that there was one nay from Commissioner Venice Walker. Do we have that? Okay. So the ayes have it. So this will be referred to the City Council at the next City Council meeting. I'm not sure what date it's going to make it on the record. January 28th. Okay, so it'll make it on their agenda for January 28th, where they will render a final decision. So again, thank you to the applicant and for everyone who showed up for this particular application. You being a part of the process is absolutely necessary, so we thank you, and we appreciate the difficult situation that this application posed. But again, we thank you for your time. We thank you for being here. We thank you for speaking up and making sure that the Planning Commission knows how you feel about this particular case. So with that, we will move on to the final case on the agenda, which is REZ 2025-010.
Give a second for transition. and
Sure,
so forth.
no problem.
Okay, so I
Mr. Wheeler, if I may, just a
Yep.
procedural question, I guess this is for the attorney. On the temporary land use permit for future reference, is there an ability for city council or anybody to extend that 2-year time period? That's in the city ordinance?
Yeah, so as it is now, it's a 2-year cap.
Okay.
And so it expires in 2 years, and it can be reapplied and renoticed and reheard for an extension. But the 2-year is a limit that's
It is
cut.
finite, okay.
Oh, I guess no one's leaving. All right. Okay. The last case before you this evening is Z25-010. Applicant is Jalisco Cruz, represented by Mr. Matthew Wilson of Boundary Incorporated. The applicant is seeking to rezone the subject property from R20 to low-rise office. Subject property is located at 3710 Cedar Drive Southwest. This is the zoning map of the subject property. The star indicates where the subject property is located. As you can see, the property is zone R20. Further to the south of the subject property is general commercial. To the west is NRC, and then NRC to the east, and then industrial to the southeast. And then that is the unincorporated Cobb County right across the street from it. Again, this is future land use map. As I kind of highlight here, light blue is priority industrial, pink is neighborhood activity center, white is low density, and red is the community activity center. Again, the subject property has the future land use of neighborhood activity. And again, this is just another aerial map of the subject property. It has frontage along Powder Springs Road and then frontage along Cedar Drive. The property, this is a proposed concept plan of the subject property. The applicant has intended that they will redevelop, or I say repurpose, the existing single-family home. Will not do any demo of the actual structure, but will repurpose the inside of the building for office use. And then propose as far as additional parking for the customers and for staff, and then for anything in the back for storage shed and other activities. Or not other activities, but other items for their business. As you indicated, again, there's 2 driveways and a gate as well. I did want to point out a few things on the concept plan. So when it comes to the concept plan, so one thing that the applicant did not do was request a variance for the landscape, because the applicant is requesting a low-rise office zoning classification. That zoning classification requires a landscape buffer, a 20-foot landscape buffer along any property that's zoned residential. So this here and this here as well. The applicant indicated that they need to do a proposed reduction of 10 feet. However, they did not indicate they need a variance. So if the planning commission is in line with the applicant's request, staff will say they need a variance as well for the reduction of the landscape. And then also want to make a note of the true driveways. Currently, this proposed concept is not in line with Cobb County or the City of Mableton's driveway standards. However, just want to again make it a bit clear, this is just a concept plan. So again, so the applicant does have the ability to make adjustments and to redefine what their plan will look like if approved this evening or if approved at the City Council. This is the site photos of view of that. Oh, there we go. Okay.
I think you have to go back one more.
All right. Oh,
there we go.
Okay. All right. So this is the site photo of the subject property. Again, the applicant has had repainted and did some landscaping with the existing structure. Again, no outside structures or changes for the property. Again, just another site photo of the property along Cedar Drive. And again, this is just another view of the subject property out on the site. Again, the applicant owns the other property next door to it. However, they have not done any structural damage or any grading for the subject property. It's the property next door that's actually going through the permitting process. So it looks like they did something, but it's only to get access to the property next door. Because any other way access would become a Powder Springs Street. Powder Springs Road, and I think that would be not a good idea for them when they're trying to develop their house next door to it. So, with all our applications, these are the zoning criteria which staff will review it and provide our analysis for it, which is in our staff report, and therefore staff does recommend denial of this application.
Thank you. Do we have the applicant or their representative here this evening? Okay. And is there anyone here that would like to speak in support of this application? Please raise your hand so you can be counted for the record. Okay, we have none. Do we have anyone that is here, anyone here that wants to speak in opposition to this application? Please raise your hand. Okay, we have two, is it 2 or 3? Okay, two for the record. Okay. So we will start with the applicant or their representative to plead your case. You'll have 10 minutes, and again, that 10 minutes can be shared with the applicants and or representative and those who want to speak in support of the application. So however you guys want to divide that up, that is totally up to you. Please step to the podium, and we'll get you clocked in.
Pamphlets to give to you guys.
Okay, please hand them to staff, please.
While he's doing that, I want to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, sir.
I'm going to thank you guys for being out here because I believe your commission is voluntary, right? So it says a lot that you guys are out here trying to make Mableton better. So thank you very much for your service. Okay, so on this property, yes. Oh, sorry. Sorry. My name is Matthew Wilson. I'm representing Mr. Cruz. So on this property, it is at Powder Springs Road and Cedar Drive. My client owns a lot of properties, and he likes he manages them. And he currently has a business in Marietta, and he wants to move it closer to where the majority of his properties are. So he wants to move to Mableton. He likes the neighborhoods, he likes the community, and he wants to provide his service better, provide a better service for his clients in this area. So this property is approximately half an acre, and it is zoned R20 currently, but he wants to zone it low-rise office. Now, he's taken the existing building, and if you look at the pictures from like last year, he recently purchased it, and he renovated it. He made it look so much better, as shown in the pictures earlier. He wants to continue and do that and create a good-looking business to improve the community. So if you look at, okay, so I want to talk about the zoning. If you look at, in the packet, sheet 2, you can see our site because it's a big bullseye, right? So in this area, we have a lot of commercial going on. We have, if you look at our site and then go to the east, we have Bojangles, a auto spa, Dollar General, Walmart's up there. We have Rotor King Plumbers. I mean, there's a lot of businesses out here. Even inside the subdivision that we're talking about, there's Jay's Professional Drywall. So there's a lot of commercial business in this area. So if you go to page 3, it's the future land use map. And what that shows is that this property in the future is designated to be Neighborhood Activity Center. Now, I want to read what exactly that is, because I think it applies exactly to what we're doing. Sorry, my mouth gets dry. So, a neighborhood activity center. The purpose of a neighborhood activity center category is to provide for areas that serve neighborhood residents and businesses per the Cobb County Comprehensive Plan of Future Land Use, as amended from time to time. Typical land use for this area includes small office, limited retail use, and grocery stores. He's wanting to put a small office to serve his clients. So I think a small office aligns with the future zoning. I do want to maybe correct or in the packet from the staff on page 5. Sorry. Now, in the packet, right? So on my sheets, if you look at page 4, it has the same little chart for the setbacks. It says that the setbacks for the front should be 50-40, and we're asking 50-25. That's incorrect. We're actually asking for the same thing. And then for the rear, it has 30 foot, which is correct. But what's missing is the major side yard setback. What I think happened is they got mixed up within 50-25. So I just want to correct that. So all of this setback stuff should be a yes. It's the same. I'm sorry. I read this and I was laughing because as for the buffers, we're wanting to reduce the buffers to a 20-foot buffer, reduce it from a 20 to a 10. And I read this, no variance will be needed. And I kind of laughed because I was like, yes. But I know it means I need a variance. I understand that. Okay, so the reason we're asking for a 10-foot buffer is because we're putting a 6-foot privacy fence around the backyard to hide to buffer from the neighbors. And we're also planting that 10-foot buffer with buffering style plants like bushes, small trees, things to stop any kind of noise that may happen. So we're trying to think about the neighbors as well, because our owner, he owns the property next door, so he's going to take care of the property. So with that, I would like to ask that, given this information, that you approve the variance, the zoning. So,
Mr. Chairman, there's 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. Oh, sorry,
3 minutes, 10?
Yeah.
I can't type that long.
You can use it, or that's quite all right. It's up to you.
You want to say anything, Larry?
Thank you. All right, so support of will forfeit the remaining 3 minutes and 10 seconds. We had, was it 2 people here to speak in opposition to the application, correct?
Yes, Mr.
2 people. Okay, so essentially same rules apply. The 2 people who want to speak in opposition, you guys can make your way to the podium. However you want to split those 10 minutes between the 2 of you, it's totally up to you.
Yes, my name is Steve Young. I speak on behalf of Mableton.
Just a second. Can we start the clock? Go ahead.
My name's Steve Young. I'm speaking on behalf of Mableton Improvement Coalition, and we would recommend denial of this for pretty much the reasons given in the staff recommendation. This would be although the future land use is low-rise office, this would be basically an island of commercial activity in a sea of residential, which is not in keeping with the spirit of the zoning that's specified for the future land use that's specified for this area. Also, because the business would operate 7 days a week and open at 6 a.m. in the morning, this would impose a hardship on the residents who do live in this area to have to endure the traffic and the noise in times that are normally considered low use or low intensity. So for these reasons, we recommend that you deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's 8 minutes and 43 seconds left.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Michael Pope, and I live in that area. And
Make sure you speak into the mic so everyone can hear you, especially the virtual audience.
with the mask on. There goes my persona. Anyway, I wasn't real familiar with the how this property in the new house. Is it the new house that you guys have built?
Sir, can you do me so just rules of decorum, any comments or anything like that is directed towards the planning commission, because it lends itself to rebuttal from the applicant. So whatever it is, whatever your opposition is, tell us what your opposition is.
Okay, I'm like the gentleman that spoke previously. And there's still a residential area there, and it was failed to mention that there's a high-rise there also, one house away from this property that has hundreds of senior citizens there. And we just don't need any more commercial traffic there. That road out there is plenty busy, and Cedar Drive still has a lot of residents in there. I mean, it's just one level houses there from the 60s. And I just don't see any need for this extra traffic in there, commercial business. And I don't know if the new house has been built, if they're going to request for it to be rezoned for a business, if that's next, or how that's going to be operated. I don't know. And the idea of the buffers being reduced, cut in half, I don't like that idea either. And the parking out front, which is, it looks bad enough in that area as it is. And sometimes there's a property next to us and the zoning isn't maintained. That's Cobb County's fault. It's not Mableton's fault. And I don't know what happens to that, but it isn't followed through with, and it kind of deteriorates. And I don't put much faith in that nowadays. I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel about it. But I'm requesting that you deny this rezoning for this property. And that's what I've got to say. And I like the repurposing of this old fire station too, by the way. And I'm old enough to remember Socktown in this area too. I don't know if you folks know that or not. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There is 6 minutes remaining.
I'm going to get up and speak then if there's that much time.
Yes, ma'am. You can get up and speak.
So my name's Terry Pope. We live right on Powder Springs Road, pretty much across the street and up just a little bit. I have 5 lanes I have to get out in the mornings to go to work. I have to get in 2 lanes, get in the middle lane, and get onto the other lane. We don't need any more businesses right in there. It's hard enough to get out of my house at 6:30 in the morning to go to work, and I certainly don't want anybody else down there. And I find it interesting that their address is Cedar Drive rather than Powder Springs Road, because there's no egress. You know, when they turn on to Cedar Drive, they got to gun it to get it in there, just like I have to gun it to get into my driveway. Every day I pray I don't get run over when I get in my driveway. I've lived there 50 years. I'm not going anywhere. And we were very surprised when we got the letter that this property is in Mableton. I mean, across the street we're Marietta. We had no idea y'all were in Mableton. And we have enough going on in that neighborhood. Like my husband said, there's a senior complex right across the street from us with a lot of seniors who are out walking on the sidewalks and doing things. Walking to Walmart, which scares me to death because I know one of these days somebody's going to get run over. But there's just too much, and we don't need another business, because I thought the letter said he wanted to have several different businesses in the building. So that means more people working. And we have enough traffic on Powder Springs Road. We don't need any additional help. So yeah, I hope y'all do what you say and you deny it. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll make sure the record reflects 3 in opposition.
3?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we had 3 people speak in opposition. And does that say 3 minutes, 55 seconds left?
Yes.
Okay. So we have 3 minutes, 55 seconds remaining. I'll make a final call for anyone that wants to speak in opposition to this particular application. You have 3 minutes, 55 seconds, so I'll give you a few seconds to muster up the courage to engage in public speaking.
Is it possible to use that time for rebuttal?
No. Okay. So we will close the public comments portion of this hearing, and we will go back to, we'll open it up for discussion amongst the planning commissioners. So if you guys have any questions of staff and or the applicant or the representative, we can engage in that at this point. So I'll leave the floor open.
I do have a question for the applicant.
Okay. Or the representative, either one.
Well,
You can, okay, you can make your way to the podium. And just remember to speak into the mic so the virtual audience can hear you.
Okay.
I have a couple of pretty specific questions. So
I'll try to answer them.
not a rebuttal. We have 7 parking spaces in front of the building.
Right.
And how many parking spaces in the back?
There's no parking space in the back. There will be no vehicles parked in the back lot. There may be occasional trucks come in and pick up some tools from the shed, but there's no parking back there.
So that seems like a lot of pavement.
It is. But it's just, we don't want to cause a mud pit. That's why we're putting pavement there. It's easier to maintain pavement than it is to just put gravel or something. Because there will be small trucks, like F-250s, F-150s, small trucks will use that back driveway to pick up maybe a tool or two in the shed. But that's about all.
Okay. And how many people do you expect to work in this building?
I honestly don't know. 4 or 5.
Okay. And would members of the public visit this building as well?
Oh, yeah, because they have clients that will come and pay their rent. If they have any kind of issues, they come and get service that way, yeah.
Okay. And what about deliveries?
Deliveries, I don't believe there'll be any deliveries, no. And just to make sure something clear, the hours of operation, it's not gonna be a 7-day business. They work from Monday to Friday, and I think it's 6 to 5? 8 to 6. 8 to 6. So it's not 7 days a week.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to be that in the office.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Cool.
I have a question. I'm sorry, did I understand it may be multiple businesses?
No,
Or
they're
just
not
one
multiple,
business?
just
Okay.
one business.
Okay, I want to make sure I understood that.
And what type of business?
It's a property management business.
Okay. Sorry, give us just a moment, please.
I do want to state that, yes, that neighborhood's a very beautiful neighborhood, and it's very quaint. Our client is not wanting to change that one bit. He wants to add to the because he's at the front of the neighborhood, I think he will improve the persona of the neighborhood.
I have a quick question for staff. I'm not able to find it looking at the staff report real quick. We just had a discussion about hours of operation. What we do need to be careful of is the hours of operation tied to this zoning category. Can you confirm what the hours of operation for LRO would
I
be?
do not know off the top of my head. I will have to look it up.
Okay, thank you.
And Commissioner Valenzano, if the situation calls for it, I think we can impose or recommend a stipulation. We'll say it that way. All right. Again, the floor is open for any questions from any PCs of the staff or applicant, or excuse me, or representative.
If it's appropriate, I just have some observations.
Sure.
I have been in this area recently, and wanted to note that on the map that the applicant provided to us, the NRC, the large NRC area to the right of the subject property is not a commercial use, but rather a multifamily senior housing development. And even though the area to the south of this area is shown on the land use map, on the zoning map as GC, that is all a neighborhood. It's even the home that, I mean, as I drove through there, I didn't see any obvious business uses. So it makes me think that Jay's Professional Drywall is somebody who holds their business license there, but it's a single-family home. As is the case across Powder Springs Road. It's pretty solidly single-family there as well.
Thank you for that. I think I saw the same thing when I took a quick ride through there. So seeing the business names like the Jay's Professional Drywall kind of threw me for a little bit. I'm assuming it's somebody just operating out of their house, but I mean, I don't know for sure. So question to, I guess, Representative. You mentioned that there would be, 4 people working there? 4 people, yeah.
4 or 5, yes.
4 or 5?
And they'll have maintenance crews pick up stuff every once in a while throughout the day, but there's nothing like, it won't add very much traffic to.
Right. Right. So would it be safe to say that at some point this business is going to grow and there's going to be more than 4 or 5 people that work there?
I'm sure.
And it would maybe more than a couple trucks that come in and out, or I should say small trucks?
Well, as fast as they're growing, they may move out of this business in the near future to a bigger facility.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, their majority of their clients are in Mableton area.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to stay in a localized area to serve their people.
Okay.
So the option, yes, they may grow and have 5 or 6 people.
Okay.
But I don't see the house maintaining more than that.
Okay, gotcha. Any other questions from PC?
Did you state that there would be work trucks in the back?
To pick up maybe some supplies or tools, but not like parked back there. No, there's no overnight parking in the back or front.
I'm prepared to offer a motion if you.
Okay,
when you're
I just
ready.
wanted to leave it open just in case anyone else had any other questions. I know we were kind of scrolling back and forth, so it was something that I was trying to find in particular, but. So I'll make one last call if there's any other questions from any of the PCs. If not, we can move to a motion. So I think that the idea is always thinking about the property and how it's zoned and what the zoning request is and what potential precedent it could set for the future, because that's essentially the recommendation that we're making is to zone for the future and not for now. So when one day when the business is long gone, it'll still be zoned as either R20 or LRO, and that's something to consider. So at this point, can we entertain a motion to either approve or deny the application as submitted?
I would make a motion that to deny this application because although it conforms to the letter of the comprehensive plan, it does not meet the spirit of the comprehensive plan, which calls for a cohesive transition from one land use type to another. The surrounding properties and those across the street are entirely residential.
If you just make the simple motion and then see if you get a second, and then you can discuss
Okay.
everything else in the debate portion.
Okay,
Where they ask for
sure.
discussion about it. Yeah, just so the motion's clear and crisp, and we can get that on the record.
Gotcha, okay. Go ahead.
Then I move that we recommend denial of REZ 2025-010 3710 Cedar Drive.
Okay, we have a motion for denial by Commissioner Meyer. Do we have a second?
I second that.
We have a second from Commissioner Valenzano. We got it? Yeah. Okay, all right, so discussion? Okay, so.
Any comments on the motion, the question?
Gotcha. So I'll refer back to you, Commissioner Meyer, for you to.
Thank you. So I propose this motion because, as I said, I related to the comprehensive plan, also the surrounding properties and those across the street are entirely residential in zoning and in use. While there are some changing conditions along Powder Springs Road, they do not appear to me to be predominantly trending towards commercial, but rather that significant new multifamily housing development was on property that was zoned NRC, but it is a residential use, which is allowed in NRC. I think this zoning proposal could impact the traffic on Cedar Drive, which is a very narrow, small neighborhood street serving that community. I think it has the potential, because of the lack of full buffers and the very large parking lot in the back without any discernible use for it, as well as the parking in front. It presents a very commercial look, which is really not the point of the LRO zoning category, and so I think it could adversely affect the existing usability and value of surrounding properties. And I think the property has economic use as it's currently zoned as a single-family home, and thus I think I'm hopeful that it will be returned to the single-family home inventory, and someone will enjoy living there.
I agree. I think, again, for me, one of the things that we're charged with is when we are entertaining an application and a zoning request, we have to think about not necessarily what it's zoned as now, but also what the request is for the future. And like I said before, one day when that business is long gone, that particular piece of property is zoned as LRO in a heavy residential area. And I do understand that there are commercial properties right there on Powder Springs Road. I know that, as you said, there's a Bojangles, I think there's a Goodwill and a big plaza with a bunch of retail space there. And then it's, as you get to the east-west connector, more retail space. But I think for this particular corner, I'll call it a corner, but for this particular street, I think it's heavy residential. And to zone it as LRO kind of goes in the opposite direction as far as how it's currently zoned. So that R20, keeping it as R20 or recommending denial to keep it as R20, I think it makes more sense for that particular area. Maybe sometime in the future, but I think right now that R20 zoning category, it just makes more sense as opposed to transitioning or making a huge transitional leap to LRO from R20. But I'll leave it open for anyone else. All right, well, with that, so we've had the motion, we've had the second. So now we'll take a vote. So all in favor of recommending denial of the application, all say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, the ayes have it. And let the record note that it was denied, or the recommendation is to deny unanimously. And with that, we will, actually, that was the last zoning case. So with that, did we have any other concerns or issues to be mentioned or brought up that did not make it to the agenda that we may have thought of in the interim?
If I may, I just wanted to point out that the 2026 calendar for the Plan Commission does have a work session on it now. So if anyone would like to avail themselves of those meetings, please check the city's website.
Yes. And I will say, last but not least, again, we appreciate every single person's time. The city of Mableton and this community is only going to be as strong as the level of engagement from its citizenry. So even if it doesn't affect you directly, these zoning cases, it's either going to have a direct or indirect impact on you. And so we encourage the community, whether you are here physically or you are watching this hearing virtually, we encourage you to continue to do so. Hopefully we see your faces if you're attending virtually. But if you're not able to make it, continue to attend or watch virtually. And if you can make it out, continue to attend physically. Because as Mableton continues to grow, your input, your voices, we want and we need to hear your voices. We want and need to hear your input. So don't think for a moment that what you say is going unheard, because it is not. We are listening to what you're saying. We live in this community with you. We are not somewhere else, and we're making decisions from afar. We live here too. So these decisions, they're going to impact you, and they're going to impact us as well. That's all that I have. So with that, can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, so we have a motion to adjourn from Commissioner Valenzuela. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Meyer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. This meeting has been adjourned. Thank you again.